Hello, everybody. Gage says it's empty. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Today's beer, we got another one from O. Dempsey's, which is brewed by Thomas Creek Brewery. This is called Your Black Heart, which is a Russian Imperial Stout. 90 IBUs on this, which I think is very, very high for a Russian Imperial Stout. That's more like a double IPA IBU there. So, 8% alcohol, it says on the label here, and there's no dating on the label. It's an 8% beer, so it's gonna keep for quite a while. And we'll check the bottle. It's just right out of the fridge, and it's sweating profusely. So we'll take another look when we come back for the final chug. But I don't think Thomas Creek dates anything. It's not as critical on the Russian Imperial Stouts as it would be an IPA or an Amber Ale or even a lager. They definitely have a shorter shelf life than something like a Russian Imperial Stout at 8%, guys. So let's get on with this one. Russian Imperial Stout, availability year-round on this one, it says. The food pairings of being a Russian Imperial Stout, they say chocolate. It's going to go with your stronger dishes. I mean, grilled meat, game, smoked meat, or even after dinner. This would be a good one to have even after dinner. The food pair, the glassware today is a becker, stein, a mug, a tumbler, an oversized wine glass, a snifter, pint glass, about anything you want to pour it in. These type glasses, like the Dougal glass I use for these bigger beers, and especially the Imperial Stouts. The shape of the glass enhances the aroma. That's why I like using this glass over a pint glass or something like that. The beer can be sold for long periods, being an 8%er. So let's get the cap off of this thing and see what this was about. Like I tell you guys, I'm not a big fan of Thomas Creek. They don't seem to brew a lot of super tasty beers, and it's just my opinion. I have some of my subscribers say they make some really good beers. Maybe this is going to be the first one. Most of them are either C or B beers. So maybe this one will end up being an A beer. We'll see where it ends up. So let's get it in the glass. And I don't say that to mealy mouth them guys. I'm sure they do a lot of contract brewing for other breweries or for other beer people that don't have the facilities to brew their own beer. So it poured very nice, black color, very reminiscent of what a Russian Imperial Stout would look like. Not a big head on that pour, just barely covering the top of the beer. Over into the light, there is none. It is very black. Looks very, very much what a Russian Imperial Stout should look like. Let's get a nose on it and see what we got. I doubt if it's going to be able to hold a candle to what we did yesterday. The one that Dave sent me, the Eclipse from 50/50. That thing was aged in Old Fitzgerald bourbon barrels for over 200 days. So, I mean, very impressive beer. It was a 10. So, let's see where this one ends up. A little bit of alcohol on the nose. I'm getting some dark roasted malt on the smell of this. Maybe a little hint or maybe some dark cherries or some darker fruit, raisins, dates, figs, plums, something in that aspect there. But it does have a little booziness to it on the nose. It almost smells like it's got some kind of sweet fruit in it too. Very much like a cherry smell, like a dark cherry. But like I said, it does have a little booziness on the nose. So let's give it a taste and see what we got. Cheers, everybody. It's not too bad. Just a hint of maybe some bittersweet chocolate in it. It's actually not bad. This may be the best one so far that I've got that Thomas Creek has brewed. Now, there are a lot of breweries out there that brew a lot of session type beers. Magic Hat and some of the others come to mind. Even Sam Adams does a lot of their average 12-pack cases, Boston Lager, and their red ales and stuff like that are very tasty, but they're low ABV and they're made for to be either sessioned or for the transitional beer drinker, to get the guys that are drinking the macro lagers over into something with a little more taste. But they do some Imperial stuff too, and Utopias, and a lot of stuff that are big beers, and some of them are rather pricey, especially the Utopias. I mean, they're way up there. I mean, the retail on them, if you can get it retail, it's around 160 bucks. But I mean, I've seen them go on the internet for $250, $300, depending on how old the beer is and how bad somebody wants it. So, and that's all subjective there. The beer is only worth what you're willing to pay for it. So, I mean, if it's a $30 beer and you're not willing to pay it, you're not going to pay it. I mean, whether it's worth it or not. So a lot of people don't want to spend an arm and a leg to get a beer. I mean, they're used to drinking stuff that you can buy 18 Miller Lights for less than 10 bucks. So I mean, they're going after quantity and not quality. And I've gave that up. I'm into something that tastes a little better, and I don't session them anymore. I drink them for the taste, and I just tell you straight up whether I think it's worthy, and it's just my opinion, guys. I mean, what I may like, you may not like, and vice versa. So this one is fairly tasty. It's right out of the fridge, 40 degrees. We're going to let it warm up a little bit, but I'm fairly impressed so far with this particular beer from them. So we'll see where this one ends up. We're going to share a little bit of this, and we'll come back and do some final comments and do the final chug on this one. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little bit left here. I've been sipping on it probably about 35-40 minutes now. Now that it's warmed up, the booziness has really showed its head. It needs, it's in my opinion, for the bitterness, 90 IBUs, it needs to have a little more sweet malt to go with that much bitterness. Plus the booziness tells me it's not as well made as it coulda, shoulda been. So, not as impressed now that it's warmed up as I was when I first got it out of the fridge at 40 degrees. So, and I've looked at the bottle, and it does have a black digitized code on here, which I do not know what means, and it's not as important on an 8% beer, but it's got ODIS-036BD. So you might be able to go to their website and find out what the hell that's supposed to mean, but I did not. To me, it's an okay beer now that it's warmed up. I think, like I said, it could have a little more. It's very thin. It's kind of on the boozy side. But it's too bitter for the sweetness of the beer. So let's do the final chug on here. It's got a slight astringent taste to it too. Overall, it's a decent beer. I mean, there's a lot better Russian Imperial Stouts out there, but it's an okay beer. I'm gonna give it a 7, which is a B+. Definitely not into the A category as far as I'm concerned. So like I said, it can't hold a candle to the one we did from 50-50 Eclipse yesterday, the one that was a bourbon barrel aged. But still, this is not aged in any bourbon barrels or anything. It's just a straight up Russian Imperial Stout, 8%. I think this is slightly boozier than the 9.5 that we did yesterday in the alcohol rate. So that's where I'm gonna leave it, guys. I think it's a 7. It's a B+, which is about where the Thomas Creek beers that usually end up in the B range. Some of them, I think I've done a couple of them that's been into the C's, so kind of average, but most of them are in the B range. They're not outstanding, but they're better than average. So, with that being said, if you can pick these beers up from O'Dempsey's or Thomas Creek, they're good transitional beers in my opinion. This one is slightly boozy though. I mean, it's definitely not as balanced as it could have been or should have been. So, with that being said, let's go to the ratings. Beer Advocate says it's 88, which is in the very good range, and I think that's being very generous. And Rate Beer says overall 98. I can't see that. I do not see that. And 71 in the style. I think the overall is a little high, and I think the style numbers are a little low. Not a lot low, because like I said, it's not quite as balanced as it could have been. So if you've had this beer, give me some comments back on this, and guys, whether you liked it, didn't like it. As always, rate, comment, subscribe, and maybe we'll get the other clips out tomorrow. Come on back, let's see what we do. We'll go take a look, see what's in the fridge. See you then.